What's up, dumb dude?
What's up, Dum Dude? Wait, hold on. Sorry for our listeners. I have to put this desk and microphone up to normal man height. For those not watching, we're standing at a rising up and down desk. I let Stu set it. And unfortunately, the mic was on my belly button. And I didn't think that a Dumb Dudes episode narrated by my belly button would necessarily bring a ton of value. It'd bring value, just not a ton of value.
I don't think that's a very funny joke.
I thought it was hilarious as we were raising and lowering. I thought it was pretty funny.
And my mom always told me that dynamite comes in small packages. What do you think?
There's a lot there, a lot of directions we can go, but we'll just move on.
What are we talking about today on this Dumb Dudes episode? What deep thought do you have?
Deep thoughts. So not really my deep thought, but we have the benefit of meeting with a group of men, highly motivating, just high achieving dudes that we've been blessed to have as close friends. And one of the discussions we had today was centered around this particular individual was talking about his marriage, and we're just talking through some challenges with marriage in general. But it really got me thinking about one question in particular. And I'm gonna throw the question out there, and hopefully our listeners will give you a couple seconds just to think. Just I'm gonna ask this question and just see what comes to your mind. But the question is, if you were to have an amazing marriage, what would need to happen? What would need to happen for you to have an amazing marriage? So I'll let that hang out there for a sec. And what was interesting is, I think when I initially hear that, my thoughts go automatically to what my wife could do, what her responsibilities are, and what she could do differently to make our marriage whatever that much more productive, happy, healthy, whatever the adjective is. And I think it's somewhat natural for us to direct the focus elsewhere. And what's really interesting about that is I have no control over my wife, over what she does, the decisions she makes, anything. I have no control over my wife.
Yeah.
She's a human being that has her own desires, feelings, thoughts, and she will do what she's going to do. And by answering that question with what my wife could do, I'm basically abdicating all responsibility, my God-given responsibility, to make my marriage better through my actions and considering what I should do to contribute to this union.
Yeah, there's it's interesting. A good buddy of mine, he always had this little saying, about, kind of blaming other people. And he said that, if you're pointing the finger at somebody, what are the other three doing? They're pointing right back at you.
That's right.
Also I think about our interview with John Mann and On a Man about Go Giver Marriage and the laws of that. And one of the three is allow your partner to be themselves. You allow them to be themselves, and you appreciate them and attend to them, which are the other laws. You're not going to be able to change your spouse. So, another book, Extreme Ownership, like take ownership. And if you're going to make a change for making an incredible marriage, like that's on you. And there's nothing that you can do to force change in somebody else. You have to change yourself first.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I think the allowing part is key, but also, and I look at it from all the relationships that I'm in, and how often do you, I look at this with my kids recently too, like Noah, my youngest, we're a pretty snuggly family, and, touchy, and I'm a pretty touchy guy, and I like to hug and all this. And Noah, I'm like, hey buddy, it's time to go to school. Give me a kiss. And he goes, you can kiss my cheek. He says, you can kiss my cheek. And I'm like, no, dude, I want to kiss, but I don't want to force, my kid to give me a kiss. So I kiss him on the cheek. And it oftentimes, this little 5-year-old makes me think about, am I giving love in hopes of receiving love back? And do I do that in my marriage? Do I do that in my friendships? If I bring, if I do something like buy you a fanny pack, do I expect something in return for that? Or is that just a gift? Right. And it's an amazing gift. And
It is an amazing
it
gift.
is an amazing gift. But why do we do the things we do and what's the motivation behind them? And as you look to make your marriage better and be intentional about whether it's your marriage or your other relationships, it was a very insightful conversation today. And it really, some other things come out. There's also facts involved here, right? There's data, there's numbers. And one of the things we talked about is, if you could change, hypothetically, you could change these things about your partner, your spouse, would you be happy at that point? And I don't think you would, right? I think there'd be the next thing.
Yeah.
It'd be something else.
Something else will come up.
Right. Because you're not addressing the root issue, which is your issue. And so I just think it was a very insightful conversation. And I think we talked about divorce rates, right? How the first marriage is 50% in this country. And then the second marriages are significantly higher. They're like in the 60-70%. And then it goes higher than that for third marriages. And I made a joke that my dad was married 5 times. And I think he just got tired. Like he just got over it. Right. He's like, I'm done. Like, I'll just stick with the 5th. But I think that there's so much power also in giving yourself back the power. And there's so much strength in giving yourself permission to be responsible in these relationships. And there's a lot to be said for being intentional and owning that, that extreme ownership in your relationships to be the one that makes the changes. And it's not because you're trying to receive something. It's because you're genuinely trying to be a better spouse, partner, dad, mom, whatever it is you're trying to be for those people that you care about in your life.
It's deep, dude.
Yeah. Real deep, dude.
And you're still dumb. So it fits perfect.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And I'm just glad that we could find a middle ground with the desk height that, between the kids' height and the adult height, where we could record a show. So I'm grateful for that.
So maybe we should think about our relationship and what you can do to better our relationship.
I will. I'll take ownership of that. And I recommend that you maybe take responsibility for something for once in this relationship and do something about it as well. But not for my benefit, for yours.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, if you're dumb, then go do something deep or something like that.
Go do something deep. Like what?
Think deep thoughts.
If you're dumb, if you're a dumb, at least have deep thoughts, because then people just won't think you're as dumb as you are. And it's good. It's a good place to be.
See ya.
You're dumb. Bye.